Hello everybody and welcome to my video for this lovely and quite rare Volvo V70 2.4T. It's a 2000 W registered car. It's done 155,000 miles, drives absolutely superbly, and it's currently for sale. The asking price, as I filmed this in June 2021, is £1,395. Quite a bit of a saving from what it was when it was new. Now, prior to me, the car has only had 3 owners. The service history goes up to about 90,000 miles. There is evidence that the cam belt has been changed by Volvo, I would hazard a guess, because the sticker is under the bonnet on the strut brace that goes against the suspension tops. I've had the car for a while now and it does drive absolutely superbly. No problems with the engine, gearbox, clutch, brakes. They all perform as they should do. A couple of little knocks coming from the front due to the age of the car, but that's nothing more than a rubber bush on a drop link or something like that. Absolutely drives as you would expect it to, and certainly better than you would expect any 21-year-old car to. Tyres front and rear are all in really good condition. The fronts have probably got about 4mm on them. They're a matching pair on the front. And if I go to the back, you'll see that the backs have got even better life on them. And again, these are a matching pair on the back, and they are Avon ZV1s, I think that is, or ZV7, but yeah, good quality branded tyres on the car. As you would and should expect on a 21-year-old car, there are a few battle scars here and there. You've got your odd pin dent, you've got your odd scratch. There's a dent up here, and I don't know for the life of me how that would have got up there, but there is one. And as you go around the car, there are a few marks here and there. Importantly though, there is absolutely no rust. And again, I think that's testament to the way that Volvo build their cars, because they really do know how to build a car well and a car that lasts. The only significant damage, I suppose, is this near side front wing. It's got a bit of creasing in it, and the old boy that had it before me, he really did like the touch-up stick. It's got a bit gung-ho trying to fill in minor scratches that would have been better just being left and probably machine polished out. So I reckon that if you spent a bit of time with a bit of wet and dry, flattered this back and polished up the whole panel, it would look a lot better than it currently does. But overall, if you stand back and look at the car and forget about the fact that it's 21 years old, it really does look quite smart. Again, the interior has borne the test of time really well. Very few signs of wear. The side of the driver's seat, for instance, hasn't worn through. It's a cloth interior, as you can plainly see, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because the leather interior of the Volvos does tend to crack quite badly, split open, and just really demonstrates the age of the cars, whereas the cloth stands the test of time a lot better. All the door panels are intact. There's no massive gouges or rips or tears or anything like that. You can see the interior is all intact. Everything works as it should. All the windows, the mirrors, the air conditioning, the audio, everything that's on there does work absolutely first class. This is a handy little feature. Just pop that up like that and you can see the hooks there. Used it yesterday when I went shopping. You just hang your bags off that and it means that your shopping doesn't go rolling all over the boot. The parcel shelf is in situ, as you can see, and it's got the safety net there as well. Now, the car has been previously owned by a member of the Volvo Owners Club, which again to me demonstrates the care that the car has received, because it's not been thrashed and abused by your typical I don't know, hoodlum, for want of a better word, driver that usually gets hold of an old car like this, particularly the 2.4 turbos, slams them to the floor covers them in spoilers and races them all over the place. This is a proper, genuine, well cared for car. So sitting in the car, scanning from right round to the left, all the window switches are there, your light switches are there, all your main instruments, and scanning round to the centre console. Still got the original audio with a tape deck, so you can dust the dust off your tapes and you've got somewhere to play them. Heated front seats and manual air conditioning. It's got all the essential equipment that you need. Little cubby hole here, and it has got a storage compartment under the armrest and an under the armrest storage compartment as well, and a decent size glove box. I'll start it up. Fires right up without any issues, and you can see there the current exact mileage, 155,397. And as you can see, there are no warning lights on the dashboard indicating any form of problem. Engine runs smoothly, and you can hear the fan working with no problems there. The audio, I'll turn it on to demonstrate that it does work, but switch it off again because of copyright. Everything works. It's a nice place to be, and the car drives superbly well. So I've left the engine running to come back out and demonstrate how cleanly and smoothly the engine does run. If you know anything about these Volvos, you know that the engine mounts tend to perish, and as you can plainly see here, this top one has been replaced, and yeah, you can see from the way that the engine is running, there's no vibrations. Moving round, there's the evidence the cam belt has been done, and you can probably tell just through there, expansion bottle is clear. There's no issues with any head gasket failure or oil mixing with the coolant and that kind of thing. Just a proper well-engineered car that's been well looked after. Now this is the first for one of my videos because I've never filmed myself driving before. Now stand corrected, I did do one video earlier this year when I went to collect a friend's Nissan 350Z with him, and I did a brief video in that while I was driving the car back down the M6 in the pouring rain. But for one of my cars, certainly this is the first video I've ever done. I'm using a camera mount which is really only to well, I say a phone mount really. It's just something that you stick on your screen and hold your phone. So I don't know what the quality of the video is going to turn out like. Hopefully it'll be okay, but I just wanted to demonstrate the way in which the car drives, so you can hear it while it's mooching along. I'm going to run to the shops. I just need to get something for my daughter, so come along for the ride. Now it has been raining over the last few days, so I've been driving the car with the heater on, and the heater is very effective. But today, according to the temperature gauge, it has reached the dizzy heights of 23 degrees. So turned on the air conditioning to help cool things down a bit, and again the aircon does work without any issues. It really is lovely to drive this car. I've always liked the 5-cylinder engine that Volvo have done since they released the first ones in the 850 back in the early 90s. Back then, well, I had for a time, I had a Volvo 760, which ran with the old 2.8 litre PRV V6. Now that was an engine that Peugeot used a version of, and Renault also ran a version of, and Volvo, arguably they had the best success with it because it was a bit more reliable in their hands because of the way that they re-engineered the engine. But it wasn't the smoothest V6, and it was definitely very thirsty. That 760 I had, it didn't matter how I drove the car, I was lucky if I got 21 to the gallon. But anyway, back to the 5-cylinder in this. As I say, I experienced the first ones in the 850, and I was just blown away by the smoothness and the performance of it. The first one I ever tried was the regular 170 brake version. And now my V6 in the 760 was also reputed to be a 170 brake. But if the 170 horses in the 850 gave it the pull, then in the 760 by comparison, I think there must have been 170 donkeys, because it was definitely a lot, different in terms of its power delivery. So more of a cruiser than an outright performance car. But then the first real performance Volvo that I drove was an early T5, and that just that was an amazing car to drive. The performance and the power delivery, especially because I drove the estate, and this is at the time where Volvo were in the touring car championships, racing Volvos around all over the place. It was just a game changer for me in terms of what a large family car could drive like. Really liked them. So I've been a fan ever since, and this one has reminded me of all of that. I think the power output in this 2.4 turbo is just around the 200 mark, depending on which forum you go to. Some say it's 200, some say it's 190, some say it's 204, but you know, you can tell that it's got around 200 horsepower, because it does pull very well, particularly in second gear. Put your foot down in second gear and it really does rev very freely through to the red line and provide more than adequate performance, certainly in today's traffic, because anything really quicker just sort of gets lost in translation, because you soon catch up with much slower traffic and you wonder why you've got all that extra performance. So I'm hoping that you can hear me clearly, and I'm hoping that, more importantly, you can hear the engine. At the moment I'm stuck in Worcester city centre. I'm on my way to, as I say, go and pick something up for my daughter, and shortly after that I'll be doing the school run. But when I get the chance to open it up, I'll do so. So hopefully you can then hear the engine running a little bit more freely than it currently is while I'm ambling along in traffic. Now, unfortunately, the store didn't have what I was hoping to be able to pick up for my daughter, so I've restarted the video now that I'm back in the car on the way to the school to do the school run. Now, the road that I drive down to get to the school, because the school's in a village location, does have a couple of opportunities to open the car up. So I'm hoping that I can do that, and then you can hear exactly how the engine sounds when I do put the foot to the floor and experience the turbo power. Now, this same engine was used in the later S60 and V70R. Displacement was changed slightly because I don't know, I'm not a mechanic or an engineer, but I think they've probably adjusted the bore and stroke of the engine to a smaller displacement than you've got in this one. This is a 2.4. I think the exact CC in this is 2435, whereas in the S60 and the V70R it was a 2.3, and I don't know the exact displacement of that. But in those, effectively the same engine was pushing out 300 horsepower, and later Ford used that engine in the ST series of their cars, and primarily, I mean, at the time Ford owned Volvo, so they had access to a fantastic engine for their hot hatch, but it did sound absolutely epic. I've driven a couple of STs myself with that engine in it, and they are phenomenal. But yeah, I think it's true that what they say, that an engine can make a car, and certainly the Volvo S60 and V70 range had a couple of really good engines up their sleeve. Of course, they had the D5, which as well was a 5-cylinder diesel, and that, as far as diesels go, had a decent sound, helped by the fact that performance was pretty good, because it pushed out 185 horsepower, and I don't know what the newton meters of torque is for it, probably around the 300 mark, if not more, or slightly under. But yeah, certainly went very, very well for a diesel, and sounded half decent as well. But if you're a true petrol head, then petrol cars is where it's at. And for me, in the Volvo range, this is the pick of the bunch. So I'm now going to second gear. All the way to 6. And there you go. Very smooth, very linear, great power delivery, and a fantastic sound. All right, it's not your V8. That's in a totally different league, but definitely for me a step up from your 4-cylinder. I've not driven a 4-cylinder that sounds as good as this, and I would also argue that has got a lot more character and sounds totally different and better to most 6-cylinder engine cars that I've driven, whether they're straight 6 or V6. I much prefer the sound of the 5-cylinder in this. Just a nice sound. So there you have it. This V70, June 21, is currently up for sale. £1,395 for a car that drives as well as this, is as spacious as this, as well equipped as this, typically Volvo, as safe as this, and puts a smile on your face. It's a nice car to drive, a comfortable place to be, and it's all at a very affordable price. So if you're interested, comment below and I'll try and get back to you. But if you like the content of this video, check out my other videos on the channel, and why not consider hitting the subscribe button, giving the video a thumbs up, like it, share it, and all the usual YouTube stuff, because it does help with the algorithms that YouTube use to determine whether videos are decent or not. And I'm hoping to build the channel up with a few more videos to come. So stay tuned, keep watching, and there'll be more videos coming along soon. For now, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.